Hello, everyone. This is your girl, Donna D, and I am back. We are going to switch topics, and right now we are going to be talking to Jason. Welcome, Jason.
Thanks, Donna. It's great to see you. I'm very excited and honored to be here.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, so Jason has a very interesting story that I would love for you all to hear. He has a story of resilience, and it's pretty awesome. So, Jason, can you start off by introducing yourself?
Yeah, absolutely, Donna. Well, for those of you that are currently listening, just a little bit about myself. As Donna mentioned, my name is Jason Dietrich. I am from the state of Pennsylvania in the United States of America. So I've been born and raised there for the last 27 years. I am a current NASA STEM educator where originally for the last 4 years or so, I started off teaching STEM as a public school teacher. And I started teaching STEM during the COVID-19 pandemic, which was quite an interesting experience, to say the least, for everyone. So despite all of the challenges that we experienced during the COVID-19 pandemic, I was able to implement a lot of technological tools that better enabled me to reach my student needs and also get them inspired to pursue STEM, because when everyone was isolated with the COVID-19 pandemic, we lost that overall sense of collaboration and teamwork, which is very vital and important for STEM engagement and outreach. And what happened, Donna, was a little bit later on, as we were getting out of the COVID-19 pandemic, we all of a sudden, the public school system, I noticed, started going back to the status quo, where we again resumed the standardized testing. We just had to teach to a standardized test. And I didn't agree with that. I felt that my creativity and innovation was extremely limited. So when I was looking for new ways to broaden my outreach, but to also use my creativity at the same time even further. And that's when I discovered NASA, particularly an organization called the Virginia Spaceflight Academy. And the Virginia Spaceflight Academy is a local nonprofit organization that is associated with NASA. And it is based in Wallops Flight Facility in Virginia. And it's near Chincoteague Island. So it's about 10 to 15 minutes away from there. But I actually worked this past summer as the Space Camp operations manager, and I did all of the jobs. But I used my creativity and innovation even further, Donna, and that was proven to be very valuable and very effective. And I have also collaborated with another NASA STEM engagement specialist on our video game Game On module. We co-created that module where we teach the overall concepts of video game design. In fact, I'm teaching that currently right now. So I got to say, Donna, I'm really enjoying my experiences at NASA even more. I don't feel as restricted as I did in the public school education classroom, and I'm glad that I took that leap of faith.
Great. So, can you explain what STEM is for those who may not know?
Yeah, that's a wonderful question. So in terms of STEM, I'm just going to start off with the acronym. STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So though that is the big acronym involved around STEM. However, there's really been a big push, for school districts to incorporate the A in STEM to make it STEAM. And the A is known as the arts. So they've incorporated that aspect as well. So if you are a musician, like I'm a musician myself, I'm a clarinet player and I'm also a vocalist. I like to do that on the side. Or if you also like to do artwork and even cooking as well, that is a concept related to STEM. And, you see, Donna, you do concepts of STEM every single day. Everybody does. And you don't really know it sometimes.
Right.
So even though, I'm a current, NASA STEM educator, when I'm not on the job, it's like I'm still on the job, because I'm still, doing some important STEM concepts.
Okay. So, did the kids really enjoy the STEM classes?
Yes, they did. And I got to be honest with you, throughout our space adventure camp, it was our first time back at full capacity because of the ripple effects with COVID. And we did a lot of hands-on learning. We focused on the concepts of coding, rocketry, robotics, drones. We did computer science. We even spoke about Earth's ocean. And we also spoke about many other STEM topics. And Donna, the work that we do at VASFA is we really focus on the overall concept of hands-on learning, and we don't focus on grades. We really focus on the learning growth,
Hmm.
because a letter grade does not define who you are as a person. Whether you get an A, B, or a C, that doesn't define you. So
Right.
there's a lot more to that. So we help to bring in overall concepts of collaboration and teamwork through doing many innovative engineering design challenges. And the campers really enjoyed it. And they have come back even a couple years later to the same camp because they just loved the experience working not just with hands-on activities, but also going on tours to see real live NASA scientists and engineers through many of our different aerospace partners.
Wow. I have a cousin that works with NASA. He's in California. It's a couple hours outside of LA. I forgot the name of the place, but it's kind of I know it's like near a desert because I know he's always saying there's nothing there. So did you always did you always want to work for, well, I know you were a teacher first, but when you were younger, did you have aspirations of working with NASA?
That's a wonderful question. So, I started to develop my STEM interest and outreach in middle school. And I have to tell you, when I was 5 years old, I was diagnosed with hyperlexia. And for those of you viewers listening in that might not be as familiar with what hyperlexia is a form of autism. It's a branch of autism. And someone with hyperlexia has the ability to read at such a high level. For example, when I was in kindergarten, I was able to read equivalent to a fifth grader. And, my parents were absolutely impressed. They were like, wow, you read so smoothly and so fluently. And they were just like, wow, this is something I've never seen before. So they
Hmm.
actually took it a step further, where they said, well, if he's able to read words at such a high level, then let's see if he can comprehend what he was reading. And I remember my parents asking me, they said, hey, Jason, after reading this big word, they would ask, what does this word mean? And I would respond by saying, I don't know. I don't know. So hyperlexia involves someone that can read at such a high level, yet struggles with reading comprehension.
Wow.
Throughout my elementary school experiences, Donna, I unfortunately had teachers who were not very supportive of my skill sets and my abilities. I had teachers who never really showed me the time nor the effort that I needed in order to thrive both personally and academically in the classroom. Donna, I even had an elementary school teacher who wrote a completely wrong evaluation about my skill sets and my abilities. And when I went on to middle school, my teachers took a look at that evaluation and they said, who is this kid? This isn't
Hmm.
Jason at all. This is a
Right.
totally different kid. So, but once I got on, to middle school, Donna, my middle school teachers helped me to see and recognize that hyperlexia is just a tiny thing. And they helped me to see hyperlexia as not a disability, but as a special ability, also known as a superpower.
Mm.
And what I'm trying to pass down, in society is we often take a look at people who have a disability as something that's negative. And no, it's not. Hyperlexia, my middle school teachers helped me to see that I was very passionate about STEM when I got introduced to astronomy, earth science, and even chemistry as well. It was very hands on. I discovered that STEM provided multiple highways of opportunity and engagement. And I knew immediately after those classes that I was hooked because I learned best through visual aid and,
Mm.
also through hands on learning. And they also helped me to discover my musical talents and abilities, like in clarinet and singing as well. So, as a result of my middle school teachers, I started to develop my wings and I was able to
Hmm.
fly high and soar through the sky. And throughout the overall interests that I've had in STEM, that's what enabled me, to go out and, start teaching STEM. But, since in a public school, I was very limited in that. What I saw NASA was doing was they were helping to promote STEM through many creative aspects and helping to revolutionize all of the state standards. And I knew that was something that I wanted to do then.
Okay. So when you were in elementary school and they first kind of discovered that you could read but not comprehend so well, did your grades suffer at all?
Yeah, that's a wonderful question. So, in terms of my reading abilities that I had, particularly in the subject of like reading and like English language arts, yes, my grades did suffer a little bit. So I remember taking, reading comprehension tests, and I scored like a 1 out of 5 or like a 2 out of 5 on like some quizzes, or sometimes I got a 5 out of 10 like on a reading quiz. So I struggled at first, but again, it was because of my teachers early on that were not very supportive of my skill sets. And, they saw hyperlexia as, something that they never heard of before. But then, also too, they were just like, I don't want to put in the extra time, to work with this kid. So I suffered as a result of that. But I did get strong remarks in terms of the way that I was reading. I remember on my progress reports, Donna, I would get S's, which represented strong for my
Right.
reading skills. But then,
Hmm.
for comprehension, I got N's a lot of the time, which meant needs improvement. But even though my elementary school teachers weren't very supportive, I knew I had to work twice as hard compared to somebody else who didn't struggle with reading comprehension. And look where it's gotten me now as a result of it.
Right. That's awesome. And then it's even better that you became a teacher because you can do things differently.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it was a real bummer that we were going through the COVID-19 pandemic. When I first started teaching, because obviously we were extremely limited in terms of what we could do. We couldn't do labs because of all the
Mhm.
touching and
Right.
with all the guidelines, but. Just with checking in on the students and really understanding how they were doing. That was the highlight with COVID. Despite all the negative that's, being said about it, I looked at COVID as an opportunity and as a positive, because COVID allowed me to really get to know and connect with my students even further. And it also provided me, along with many other Americans and also other individuals around the world, the opportunity to take a leap of faith and pursue an opportunity. So
Right.
that's why, we saw in the United States, it was known as the Great Resignation, because people were resigning from their jobs
Yes.
and taking advantage of the opportunity to take that leap of faith, try something new, and to go for their dreams.
Awesome. Okay, so you're now at NASA. What is your favorite thing about working there?
Wow, that is a wonderful question. I would I would probably say the two most favorite things that I like to do is I love collaborating with our NASA aerospace partners. Virginia Space Flight Academy has many different aerospace partners that are doing some outstanding and incredible work in relation to STEM engagement. And they tell such incredible stories in relation to, how they got there. And they really help to bring that story to life as they speak with the campers that come through our space adventure camp. So that is definitely one of the things that I like. And, another thing, Donna, that I really enjoyed was this past summer, I actually got to see a rocket launch live and in person. So
Wow.
I was 2 miles away from the launch pad, and I got to see the Antares rocket launch that launched this past August. And I got to tell you, Donna, that was one of the most cool things I have ever seen. I cried as a result of it because it was such a dream of mine to see a rocket launch live and in person. But to see the rocket, blast off into the sky, you could hear it, and you could also feel the ground shake as well.
Right.
That was just such a life-changing experience and opportunity. And that's a real life application concept that should be taught in the classroom. And, in addition to that, Donna, as well, other than, seeing the rocket launch, the other thing that was very beneficial that I love based on my work at NASA is the community. We have
Mm,
people who care, who are creative, who are innovative, and they like to dream big. So I definitely fit in well into that aspect.
right. Okay. That's incredible. I bet that I saw a model rocket. I took my kids to a STEM. We have STEM Saturdays here. So I took
Mhm.
my kids and we learned all about rockets and we saw one, but it was a tiny one and we saw it take off. So I can imagine how fun that was and how loud it probably was to watch a real rocket.
Oh, absolutely, Donna. Yeah, it was, even though we were like 2 miles away, we could still hear it. And, we were very grateful that the launch was a go because the Antares rocket, it kept getting postponed for a couple
Hmm.
months due to the current conflict with the Ukraine war. Half of the rocket was Ukrainian, had Ukraine
Hmm.
parts on it, and the other half had Russian parts. So, because of the
Oh.
conflict that's going on
Hmm.
right now, it was very difficult to get the parts. But, we couldn't have had a better night. The temperatures weren't too hot. The mosquitoes were out. So we had to dress, with long pants. So that way we didn't get bitten. But, other than that, the launch was a go. And, that was just the coolest thing ever. And, our campers through our space adventure camp, Donna, like you were mentioning about taking your children to see like a smaller rocket launch, our campers got to build their own model rockets and even launch them too. So
Yeah,
that was
nice.
very, very cool as well.
Yes, that was nice. I think they had like the kind of like a toilet paper roll, and I think they put a balloon. I think we had like Elka Seltzer. It was some kind of little experiment, but it was fun. I think I probably had a little bit more fun than my kids um, doing the STEM. So, what other type of activities or projects are you all working on?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, one of the other big things that NASA is currently working on, other than promoting STEM and helping to revolutionize the state standards, is this. NASA
Mm,
has many different contractors, so we are a big contracting agency. There's a lot of big contractors that do many different things in relation to the work that we do at NASA. And one of Virginia Space Flight Academy's partners, called SSAI, that stands for Science Systems Applications Incorporated. That was a company that was founded 45 to 47 years ago. They are a contracting agency that work with NASA that actually partnered with the Virginia Space Flight Academy. And one of the things that they are doing is a Globe Goes to Camp program. And what they are actually doing is they are promoting STEM engagement and opportunities to all the different camps that are going on across the United States. I recently saw a couple days ago that the Globe Goes to Camp program, one of the lead managers of that program, she and her team helped to create a little watershed habitat area for
mm,
students to go and see and observe what a watershed is, and how it's important towards our climate and climate change. And those again are real life application concepts and hands-on learning that is going on. So we are incredibly fortunate to have SSAI as a partner because they gave us 20 scholarships worth $20,000 to $25,000, which helped to
wow.
fund students coming to our space adventure camp. So it was truly incredible. So we are definitely working with them in that aspect. And then what the Virginia Space Flight Academy is doing is currently we are working through our year-round online STEM academy. So I'm currently teaching my video game on design module. And our favorite quote that we like to say with that is, don't just play games, make them. So, that is definitely a very impactful quote that we like to say. And, also, too, we offer many different STEM Academy modules over the course of the year to help keep students engaged in STEM. And our STEM Academy is for students in grades 2 through 8. So we're really exposing them early because that's important
Early.
with STEM. You have to expose, the students early on so that way they can see all these cool highways of opportunity that STEM offers.
Right. So if a kid is interested in STEM, or let's, like when you talk to a kid that's 5 or 6 and they say, I want to be an astronaut or stuff like that, or engineer or whatever, what type of subject should they pay attention to the most when they're in school?
Yeah, that's a wonderful question. So, I actually, believe it or not, Donna, want to be an astronaut too. So, even though I'm currently working at NASA, I'm dreaming even bigger because I would, like to go to the moon and to Mars and, explore the unknown. So, I
Right.
can definitely relate to that. So, I would say for any student that is interested in being an astronaut like myself, you really need to focus on STEM topics. So, you need to focus on science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. There are astronauts that come from a wide range of STEM degrees. A lot of them are aerospace engineers. There
Mm-hmm.
are colleges and universities across the United States that offer an aerospace engineering program. So that is
Okay.
definitely something that I would, look into if you are interested in being an astronaut and also a pilot of a spaceship or a space shuttle. In addition to that, what you can do is if you are also interested in being an astronaut as well, NASA offers many different kinds of internships, for high school students, college students, and even graduate school students. So you can
Mm,
easily work towards getting an internship at NASA. And, also too, Donna, as well, there's many other contracting agencies as well that
mm-hmm.
NASA has. It's not just strictly one. There are
Right.
many different other aerospace partners that, you could work with. For example, there's another company called Rocket Lab, which is partnered with the Virginia Space Flight Academy. They do some great work with engineering and designing rockets. And, they actually had a couple of launches recently this past year, which was
Mm-hmm.
incredible. So, and then also too, in relation to that, there's many other, major nonprofit organizations or corporate companies that promote STEM. So
Right.
there's an opportunity for you if you are creative and you
Mm-hmm.
like to dream big. NASA is the place for you. So, don't think that, you are very limited based on your experience. If you get an imagination or an idea inside your head, you got to go for it. So that is definitely something that I would recommend if you are interested in pursuing being an astronaut. But it does take work. So you have
Yeah.
to be able to put in the work. You have to be able to put in the effort. And, if you get rejected, don't give up. All right. You got
Right.
to pick yourself back up, just like with life. And you just
Yeah.
have to keep going towards your dream. And if you're patient, you will get there.
It will pay off, definitely. So, Jason, I was reading something probably a couple of days ago. I saw that there's going to be a hotel in space soon. Did you see that?
Yeah. You know what? That's interesting that you say that. I didn't know too much about that. When was
Mhm.
that posted?
I just saw it maybe 2 days ago. It's going to be like, they say it's going to be somewhere in outer space, I guess. And I forgot the amount that it takes to stay there for like I guess a night. I'm not sure, but it's really weird. I wish I could. I'm sure I was trying to pull up my iPad because I wanted to mention it to you. I just saw it and I was like, wow, there's gonna be a. Not sure I want to go, but that would be fun, right?
That would be, yes. You know what? I didn't hear of that. I'd have to, check that out. I did hear though, Donna, there was something else interesting that I saw a couple months ago.
Uh huh.
One of the countries, a little bit in the Middle East, called Abu Dhabi, what they
Hmm.
were doing was they were building, there was like a Canadian entrepreneur who invested, I believe it was like $10 billion dollars or something like that. And they
Hmm.
were planning on creating a dome representing the moon. So what they were
Hmm.
going to do was if you walked into this area, there would be a room where you would get the opportunity to walk like an astronaut, like you are in space. And they would
Wow.
also have a big, auditorium area, sort of like a coliseum, where it can fit as well up to, I believe it's like 100,000 people, something along those lines. So
Wow.
that I saw a couple months ago. I don't know if you happen to see that on
No.
social media, but that I found to be pretty interesting and cool. And I'm not sure when that's going to be done, but I think it's in the beginning stages as like
Okay.
this hotel in space.
Yes, it's like a hotel. Now, it may not be like a regular hotel, obviously not. But in fact, I'm gonna find it. And I'm gonna send that link to you because I know I'm gonna find it as soon as we finish up. Um, I had a question. I was just thinking. I love like space movies and stuff like that. When you were younger, did you always talk about like aliens and stuff?
It's interesting that you say that. Sometimes when I heard, the overall concept of aliens, I would, see it in movies.
Yeah.
And, I didn't really hear about, an alien or a zombie apocalypse until I was like in high school. So I really didn't
You didn't
take
see it.
much. I didn't really take much of that into account. I
Mm,
watched a TV show, and I still do. It's called SpongeBob SquarePants, where I remember Sandy was one of the squirrel characters, was going up into
Yes.
space, and SpongeBob got in the rocket, and you know, him and Patrick were thinking about aliens, and so I found that to be very funny, but I know that there's been some alien and UFO sightings over the last couple of years. So I think
Mhm.
that that's definitely, something that, we should look into. However, what we don't want to do is, cause a whole lot of panic like it's the end of the world. No, I mean,
Right, right.
whenever we see aliens or UFO sightings, those are cool things to see. A little bit, creepy because you don't know who's driving it.
Right.
Time, it can really, open ourselves up to a gateway of scientific knowledge and opportunity.
Correct. That's that's great. Okay, so do you ever go back to talk to your kids, because your kids that you were teaching previously? Because I think it's awesome when they get to see like someone who was actually working there. Because I mean, we always heard of people working at NASA, and that was always like a really cool job. So to see you probably coming in to back to the school, that was probably really cool. Do you do that?
Yeah, Donna, we're actually working on that, currently. So, based on, my schedule, I haven't been in to any schools currently as of right now. However, that is definitely something that I would like to do. And actually, based on the work that SSAI does, I had a recent interview for a science communications intern position. And
Wow.
what they pretty much do is they promote, communications on social media through the use of articles, many different forms of social media, et cetera. The list goes on and on. But one of the cool things that SSAI does is they actually go around to professional development workshops, K through 12 schools, and they talk about, STEM education and outreach. So
Hmm.
based on my interview, they were like very impressed by it, and I should be receiving a job offer letter very soon. I haven't quite yet, so it's not quite finalized. But, in relation to that, I'm going to start doing that once I go into SSAI. So I'm very excited about that. I think it'll really get, all of the students inspired and engaged and motivated to, see that this is something that they can do. This is something that they can work towards and, dream about. So, and also
Yes.
make it a reality once you get it. So I just can't
Right.
wait to see, their smiling faces as soon as I come in. That'll be awesome.
Right. And then especially having a hyperlexia, it's like a lot of times when people get diagnosis, they think that, they're inferior or they can't do certain things. But to see you to have the diagnosis, to deal with everything that came against you, because I'm assuming you're pretty young. I mean, you look pretty young, and a lot of people did not know about what, that the condition. They did not know about it, so it's different. So everybody was pretty much probably learning as they taught you.
Yeah, it looked like it. That was probably part of it. But I know,
Yeah.
unfortunately, for a lot of my elementary school teachers, I don't think it was that they didn't, want to learn about it. They just
Hmm.
they just didn't care to learn
Uh,
about it. So
yeah.
I think they might have, probably known, a little bit about what hyperlexia is. I mean, it's a part of the Individuals with Disabilities Act. That was
Oh.
signed by former President George Herbert Walker Bush, and then his son, George W. Bush, expanded on it. So it
Oh.
is a part of the Individuals with Disabilities Act. However, again, hyperlexia, it's not a disability, it's a superpower and it's a special
Definitely.
ability. So,
Definitely.
I wanted to, reinforce that overall concept. So, I think it was just, Donna, with my elementary school teachers, they just, didn't really care. And, you're going to run into that. So
Yeah.
you're going to run into people who don't really care or, who want to put you down. But you have to get back up. You have to still stay motivated in order to, keep plowing through towards your dreams.
Perfect. So, Jason, where do you see yourself in about 10 years?
Yeah, that's a wonderful question. So, where I see myself in the next 10 years is doing, these couple of things. I imagine myself doing STEM education and outreach programs. And I think through the company SSAI, that is the place that I'm going to be. So I'm going to be, traveling around the United States, educating, students and teachers about STEM education and engagement, and also communicating all of the cool concepts that NASA is currently doing in relation to going up into space, and also talking about all the cool inventions that are coming out as well. And
Mm.
I also, see myself, number one, having my master's degree. I plan to graduate from graduate school in December of 2024, if not May 2025, somewhere around there. But I will
Mm.
definitely have my master's degree, potentially my doctorate as well in like learning design and technology. And then,
Awesome.
also in addition to that, I can see myself, going up into space. And, I know you can't really tell right now, but I'm 6'4", 6'5", so I'm a pretty tall guy. Once they
Really?
design, yeah, once they design a capsule that's, a little bit bigger where I can fit, then, I'll be able to go up into space. But I can see myself doing, all of those things and having all of these, degrees and credentials in the next 10 years.
That'll be awesome, Jason. I'll be excited to say I knew you before you was the astronaut.
Yeah. Then
Um,
I'll have to come back. Then I'll have to come back on, with my NASA outfit, and I even have a mission patch here. So
oh wow. I'm
NASA.
gonna have to
So
I'm gonna have to stay in that hotel.
yeah, well, I was going to say, I understand that space might not be for everybody, but we can certainly FaceTime or Zoom from that hotel, whatever.
I like it.
I'm sure with all the technological advancements we've had over the years and in the coming years, we can do something like that.
Definitely. My kids would love it. All right. So, Jason, this is a question that I ask all of my guests. If you
Mhm.
could go back and talk to 17-year-old Jason, what would you tell him?
Wow, that's also another good question. So I would say, to my 17-year-old self, if I went back, in time, first of all, I was definitely, younger at the time. But I would say that you have a bright future and
Yes.
you have the opportunities ahead of you. You've discovered that you are very passionate about STEM engagement and STEM education. And what you need to do is whatever ideas pop into your head, you need to trust your imagination. And,
Mm,
Donna, I've realized that, your imagination is everything. There was a
yes.
great quote from Albert Einstein, who once said that imagination is the preview to life's coming attractions. And if you think
Yes.
about that, that's a pretty true statement, because what
Hmm.
happens is whenever you get an idea inside of your head in your imagination, what happens is that idea is from God, because He
Hmm.
has a plan, and He has a big plan for your life. And whenever you get this
Yes.
idea, that is the plan that He has for you.
Yes.
So what I would tell myself is that, since you have many different STEM career aspirations, number one, if you think of that idea, you got to go for it. Don't let
Yes.
anybody, criticize you or, put you down. Just stay quiet and spend time alone by yourself, because
Yeah.
sometimes you can get distracted with like concepts of social media. And, it's very important to take a step back at times. But then,
Yes.
also, too, what you need to do is you just have to have faith and you have to trust God's guidance. It's not going to be
Yes.
easy getting to your dreams. It's not a straight path. It's many different zigzags. So,
Yeah.
but He's definitely going to put you through challenges to help grow you and to help get you ready for your dream job and initiative. And as long as you do that, you're going to be successful. Well, I can honestly say, Donna, that right now I am incredibly successful, but now I'm dreaming even bigger because those ideas are still flowing through my mind.
I love it. I love that. That's some great advice, Jason. Okay. So that's the end. But is there anything that you would like to say to the listeners?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say these two things here. First of all, for any of the viewers that are currently listening right now who are interested in checking out the Virginia Spaceflight Academy, what you can do is, and I know, Donna, I sent you links that you will share with your viewers as well. But for those that are interested, you can go to www.vasfa.org. Again, it is www.vasfa.org. And once you go to that site, you'll be able to see it. It's a beautiful site, by the way. But you'll be able to see all of the cool initiatives that VASA is doing. You'll be able to see a link for our Space Adventure Camp and all the different kinds of camps that we offer over the course of 6 weeks during the summer. Now, we don't
Nice.
have registration going on right now because, camp is not in session, but the next registration period for our Space Adventure Camp is going to be in January 2024. So
Okay.
if you are interested in this Space Adventure Camp, you need to take that opportunity and pick it up right away. Because I got to tell you, Donna, once registration for this past year opened up, after like 3 days, we were 75-80% full. So
Wow.
over the course of 6 weeks.
Wow.
So it definitely goes fast. So you definitely don't want to be on the waiting list. So I definitely encourage you, if you have a son or a daughter who is interested in this opportunity, get them off of, their cell phones and, social media as well.
Yeah.
And, get them to witness all of these, cool opportunities that VASA has to offer. And then also, too, what you can do is you can check out our year-round online STEM Academy and all the modules that we currently offer, and you can register for that and even get a kit of materials, which is very cool. And then
Wow.
in addition to that, we are also looking for other partners that are looking to partner with VASFA, who are very passionate about STEM and educational outreach. And in addition to that, we also ask for donations. So since it's our 25th year anniversary, we're looking to raise, $25,000 this year. So we are asking for your help and support, because that can really help us to better equip the next generation of youth learners to pursue STEM engagement and STEM outreach. And then finally, the last thing that I will say is in relation to, the work that we do at NASA and at the Virginia Space Flight Academy and, SSAI as well. What you have to realize is that NASA is for anybody. So it's made up of a multitude of people. It's not just, astronauts, but there's engineers, there's educators, there's technicians, there's human resources as well. So there's an opportunity for you. It's very easy to get sucked in, like I said, to all of the concepts, with social media. Again, there's the war in Ukraine that's going on. And, Israel last week was attacked by terrorists. And, while that's incredibly heartbreaking to see and watch, I've definitely been praying for them. We all should. But, don't get sucked into that. I'm still, focusing on promoting STEM engagement, towards the next generation of youth and, getting myself out there. And because, we are trying to break through all the negativity that is appearing, on our media. So don't get sucked into all that. Try to look at the positives, spend time by yourself, and, you'll really go far.
Great. I love it. Okay. So thank you, Jason, for being a guest. You had a lot of knowledge, a lot of information. I really, truly appreciate you. I know my kids will like this episode because I have one that's really into space and all that. So I appreciate you for being here. And like STEM is big. We need to push STEM. Like we need to push them. So I appreciate you, Jason. Thank you for the listeners. Thank you all for staying. I hope you all enjoy this lesson. And if the Lord says the same, I will see you all next week. Thank you.